What's up? Doing another sit down video, and today I'm going to talk about the truth about playing basketball at a junior college. I played 2 years at a JUCO at Williston State. We played in the Mondac Conference. In my 2 years here, we traveled and played through Minnesota, North Dakota, Montana, Wyoming, Idaho, Arizona. So got to see a fair share of different junior colleges. And coming from Australia to play junior college, I also have a lot of people that I know that are also playing junior college across the country. After having conversations with them, reflecting on my experience, and put this video out there to help anyone who's looking to play junior college, especially as an international moving over to America. So the first thing I'm going to touch on is misconception, and people don't realize that JUCO is like the perfect 2 years to get a lot of development and a lot of playing time and a lot of film, and then to be able to use that to get to a 4-year school and get to a good program if you have Division 2, Division 1 dreams. Just to prove how good JUCO can be, there's currently about 15 to 20 active NBA players in the recent seasons that came from JUCO, and all time there's been about 60 NBA players who come from JUCO, and that's just NBA. That's not counting any other professional leagues. So the numbers are very high for how many junior college players end up going on to the next level and be able to make a living out of basketball. Some of the names to mention in the NBA would be Jimmy Butler, Jay Crowder, Dennis Rodman, and Ben Wallace, who have all had incredible and long NBA careers, which is just really motivating coming from a JUCO to know that guys like that were also in your position. The thing with junior college though is facilities can definitely vary. I am very blessed and very lucky here in Williston. Our facilities are really great. We have an insane stadium, which is really nice. We have a great weight room. But the reality is you won't get that at every single school. I've played at some schools throughout our season. I'm like, wow, this is a pretty impressive facility. Enjoy playing here. Then there's some schools we'll play against, and you can tell that that school doesn't have as much money and the facilities just aren't as great. When coming to try and play JUCO, understand that some schools will have more money than others. Some will have a lot better facilities than others. It just really depends on where they are and the money they have. In terms of gear, you won't be getting any Division 1 gear hauls at a JUCO. You're not going to get tons and tons of gear, but you're still going to get a lot. For example, we would get probably a few long sleeve shirts, some t-shirts, a couple pairs of shorts, like a travel jacket. We get Nike Tech Fleece jackets and the matching pants, which is very nice. Been very blessed to have a lot of gear at my school, and we're sponsored by Nike, which is pretty cool. Most schools are either sponsored by Nike, Adidas, or Under Armour. So they're the three main ones, which is all awesome. All that gear is a very good thing to have, which is awesome. But again, it's one of those things that depends on the school, how much money they have, what brand they're with, depending on how much you're going to get. The big well-known D1s, they obviously travel quite nice, but my experience traveling at junior college, we plan a conference where we have a few long bus trips. Some are just like 3 hours, some are 5 hours, some are 7 hours. So usually when you're getting over that 5-hour trip, you're staying the night before, which is nice. And, when you're on them long road trips and you're playing back to backs, you'll stay in the hotel for the night, which is nice. And yeah, one thing coming into JUCO is, guys come here to get out, and there's like a dog mentality, you could call it. Every practice, every game, guys are competing. We're just thinking of getting to that next level. So it creates like more animosity, and it can, in some ways, help, in some ways hurt, because for some guys, it'll kind of ruin locker room camaraderie, and guys are competing against each other so much that it's just like, I want to get out, I want to do this. And you're going to be ready for that coming in. You're going to see a lot of guys that are using this as a stepping stone And their mentality, like I said, is just going to be, I got to get out of this, I got to go kill it. So you'll be ready to compete at the highest level and be able to deal with those sorts of guys that are going to really come at you. They have no mercy when they're doing so. Another thing for me, being from Australia, definitely playing a lot more of a FIBA styled basketball back home, just some of the rules, and playing a very structured brand of basketball. You come over here and of course it's still structured, every team has their sets, plays, all that, but I would say it's a lot more one-on-one focused, and there's so many more athletes. Guys are jumping out of the gym, they've got 7-foot wingspans, they're just absolutely huge, so you'll be ready for that adjustment. Moving a little bit away from basketball, the way classes are set up in a junior college, I really like, especially when first coming here, being overseas for the first time away from home. You're traditionally going to have smaller classes at a junior college, which I think is good because it's less overwhelming and you can build a better relationship with your teachers, which is awesome. So that's a positive about coming over to junior college first. And then a big thing to talk about is a lifestyle change. Obviously, this is different for everyone because everyone comes from somewhere different. But for me, for example, I'm from about an hour out of a huge city, Melbourne, Australia, which has about 7 million people. And obviously moving over to Williston, North Dakota, where there's no big city nearby with big buildings and 7 million people, there's not really any of that in North Dakota. So you've got to be ready for that lifestyle change. For those that are coming from bigger cities, understand that your free time might have to be used doing a bit more boring things. But the reality is you're over here for basketball. So your main focus should be basketball, school, working out, always getting better, that sort of thing. And junior colleges are traditionally in smaller towns. Most of the teams in our conference are from smaller towns. So, there's not going to be a crazy amount of stuff to do. So for me, it was in my free time, I'm basically either working out in the gym or on the court, chilling in the room with all my teammates, or I'm studying, or just, doing things like playing PlayStation, watching YouTube, those sort of leisure activities. And understand that if you are coming from a distance, you are going to miss home. Like, it's going to happen. You got to go in expecting that, and really learn how to deal with those emotions. I think good ways to go about that is, remembering the why you're here, why you've come to junior college to, get better, develop, play college basketball, move on to the next level, and just keep that in your mind that, home's always going to be there. And are you going to regret not coming over to play years to come if you decide to stay home and stay in your comfort zone, really? Because I think moving away from home, coming overseas, it's a big step out of your comfort zone, 100%. But my experience, I've learned so much coming here, grown so much as a person. You just, like I said, you learn so much in terms of yourself on the court, off the court, like mentally, physically, all that stuff. So I think the lifestyle change, it is a lot to adapt to, but it is so worth it. Now I'm just going to touch on some numbers. There's nothing better than stats, when it comes to these sorts of things. So 1 in 10 players on a D1 roster come from JUCO, and 50% of junior college basketball players move on to a 4-year program, 25% moving on to a D2 program. So, the numbers are there, the proof's there that guys can come to JUCO and you can move on to the next level, can move on to play professionally, and it is a great stepping stone. Just having them 2 years of development experience at the college level is just perfect to set you up to be able to pursue basketball for a long time and play for a long time. And just to end, talking about my personal experience a bit more, I made a video a couple of weeks back talking about my basketball journey, but here at JUCO, I came in not knowing that much. I didn't really know how much to expect. And when I come here, in my freshman year, I was a lot more of a role player, played about 15 minutes a game. And there were games where, I thought like, this is college basketball. Like, there were some freakishly good athletes and great players. And I was like, damn, like this is high level. And there's a lot of high level guys in junior college that are on every roster. I learnt so much playing junior college basketball. And I think the 2 years have set me up perfectly to move on to a 4-year program and go have a great back half of my college basketball career. And it just opened up so many doors. Coming into my freshman year of junior college, when I was in the process of finding a place to be, I did not have many schools calling. There was probably only about 3 to 5 schools I talked to, and they were all at the junior college level. And back then I thought like, damn, I thought I could, go straight to a Division 2 or go compete somewhere. And obviously it is hard being from overseas, not having the exposure and those sorts of things. And ever since finishing my JUCO career, I've had a large range of schools reaching out from both the Division 1 and Division 2 level. And I'm not saying that to brag, I'm just saying that to prove how valuable coming to play JUCO is and how much it can do for you. I think it's a great step as a young basketball player, especially if you're from Australia like me and you want to take that next step, learn new things, grow as a person, grow as a player, get the experience. That's the funny thing too. When I first came over here, I said to myself, I might just do 1 year and then go back home, get the experience, just like that. And then, I learned so much through my first year, see the development, see how much of a jump I've made in terms of the level I'm playing at. And as I got more comfortable playing at that level, I thought I'd be stupid to not come back for my second year. And then came back this year, had a great year. I averaged about 22 points a game, was all conference. We won about 18 games and had so much fun. And just the opportunities that have came up from this past year have made me realize, like, I can't go home now. I have to stay and continue playing college basketball or I would regret it. And it just would not be a smart move. So that just proves to you that, how far coming to play JUCO can take you. And, I hope this video can help a lot of guys that have questions. I know when I was first looking into college basketball before coming over, I was on YouTube looking up stuff. So I thought it'd be awesome to sit down, talk about these things just for people to, see and have a look at and understand some more stuff. So any more questions, put them in the comments if anyone has any, because I'd love to help out. And like I said, I know I would have loved all the help I could get coming over to play junior college basketball. So that's what I kind of want to do, help out as many people as possible. So thank you for tuning in.